guys, it's Keith and Jen with Ramshackle Homestead and Survival.
And I was down south doing a little pig hunting this past week and brought back some fatwood. You're like, so? You brought back some fatwood? Which we live kind of in the middle of the fatwood region. You have fatwood in the north, you have fatwood in the south, and here it's a pretty rare thing to find because we don't have a lot of pines. So we're going to process this down and make some really great fire starter. So stay tuned.
So here is one of the branches that we're going to process, and when we say fatwood, we're not talking about the species of the tree. This is going to be a pine tree that is going to be found in. And what has happened is the turpentines, the resins, the sap, all that good stuff, as the tree dies, it's going to sink down, you know, with gravity, capillary action as well, to the base of the tree and also the lower branches. So right here it's concentrated the most. There's still a little bit up here, but this is the majority where we're going to be getting it from. But of course, you know, turpentines, resin, sap, all going to be very combustible, and that's what we're going to be going for. I'm super excited about it because this is the first time that I've ever got to mess with it, because like Keith says, we don't have that here, and just the opportunity to process it, I'm looking forward to it and using it too, because I mean, who can't use some help starting a fire?
So at the top you'll see it as it came out of the tree where we found it. We were lucky enough to score some private ground to hunt on, and they'd had a little burn over there, and we were able to get some of this pine branches off the lower part of the pine tree that was down. And you'll see, you know, it's all usable, but to get to the premium stuff you got to do a little axe work, and it burns like a candle. It's really good stuff, and like I said, to us it's super valuable because it's just a rarity to be able to get your hands on, especially this much of it. We usually have to pay for it or trade for it. So this was super great to come up on a stash like this.
Okay, as you see, it's getting closer. But here at the end, it's not super dense with the resin. I'm just going to keep trucking on it. It's a little more tricky because it's not that much to hold on to, but...
Alright, so I would save all the chippings and all the waste wood. It's not really the premium fatwood you're going after. It doesn't have a lot of resin, but it does have a little resin, and after it dries out, it'll still catch a flame. It won't hold it as well, but it'll make good fire starter for the premium fatwood, the stuff that's so tacky, like what Jennifer's got processed now, that you can feel it when you touch it. So save everything you've got, because it would definitely make better tinder than what a lot of things that we have around here would. One cool thing about it, you can take a piece like this, you've heard of pine torches. Make your own torch, stick it in the ground, give your campsite a little bit of light, or get that going and use that whole piece to get your fire going, and then put it out after the fact, and you won't waste as much of it. But all you've got to kind of do is just feather the end of it a little bit. We've got a good bit of wind here today, but it's still holding a flame.
Okay, so now I'm gonna cut it into smaller, chop it into smaller pieces is what we're gonna do for. And Keith says that I can't just freehand it because he doesn't want to see blood, but I mean, I don't know what he's afraid of. So I'll just wedge it in this little hole right here and then chop it. So this is the piece that I processed, just cut it up into smaller pieces, and as you can see, the resin in there, and it's very fragrant. You could smell it smells like turpentine or sap. It smells really good. So I would just take like three or four of these with you in your little possibles bag, little fire starting kit, and you're good to go. Alright, so there you have it. Fatwood according to Keith and Jen, who live in a fatwood desert. But that's okay, because that's why we travel, is we go find things that we don't know anything about, and then we learn about them and incorporate them into our skill set. And we both highly recommend that you do the same.